time shot, it's time shot. I'm in the place where my friends are, and I know together we'll go far. Yeah, time shot, it's time shot. And I'm still doing things the time shot way.
Hello, people, it's Poet. We are back on TimeShot. Now, I've actually drained one of the waterfalls from this spot temporarily. You can see the little white quartz block blocking it off up there. Just so that I could start building something right here in this corner right here. I figured that this would be a perfect place for it because it's fairly wide open and large flat area. I don't know why I haven't started building here before, but I'm about to now. So in order to do that, I had to block off the waterfall temporarily. I know that Tort actually was talking to me about wanting to get a water source to his desert from my natural forming spring water. Now, in order to do that, we would need to create some kind of an aqueduct system. And unfortunately, one of the big challenges of that is that you basically have to create a way of getting the water downwards. I mean, what I could end up doing ultimately is that the water pours down, falls down, and then it just gets caught inside of an aqueduct like down here. Let's say we build it right here. So it falls down, gets caught into the aqueduct, and then the aqueduct can like travel along the ground. However we want to end up doing that. The other way would be to, for example, if we started up there or started up there, we would have to have some kind of like a zigzag way of transporting the water downwards. And when it's finally at the ground, then you transport it that way. With me building something right here in this corner, I think that's going to get a little bit complicated. Like to do it that way from there. And I don't really want to do a zigzag thing right in the open right there. So I think the best way that we're going to do it is to either A, have it fall down and then get caught into an aqueduct, or another option is to actually create a new water source kind of coming off of this side right here, which is probably a good idea too, considering it would be then sort of out of the way, more or less. Maybe coming out of like right here where my cursor is, and then it would pour down and then get caught into an aqueduct and then flow right towards space, which is all of this lit up land right beside us here. Now, I did a bit of work on the... I do terraforming probably for an hour or two a day, every day. I just turn on some music and then just go build or go dig, go place blocks. So what I've done right now, I filled all of this in. This is a new lake now. And it was actually inspired by that water flow that I just blocked off, because it pours down and then it comes down the land and then it like leads into this lake, or into this empty spot. So I turned it into a lake, which I think looks pretty good. I'm going to keep the sand around it because that looks more appropriate. I may actually add a little bit more sand right along here. But all of this is grass now. I have not properly lit it up, though. But it is all grass now. This section. All the way over to the other side of the main gate there. It's all grass now, too. It's very difficult to do this because of these guys. They are so annoying. And as soon as you kill one, you've got a horde of 1,000 of them coming at you. And you end up spending half of your time fighting them off, instead of placing the dirt and placing the sand. So really, usually when I'm doing this, I do it when nobody else is online. and I carry a bed with me, and then we go through it and do it. So you can see that I've actually done a huge section of sand now. This whole section here. Don't blow up. There we go. This whole section of sand is done. And I think, yeah, this whole section. Look at all this sand that I've done now. This was all dirt before. So it's all done now up to there. And then I just have to kind of do this little spot right in here. This kind of backwards L shape. The 7 shape. And then I'm done with this little part. And then I got to do this little part. This C shape. Around this dry lake. Not so dry lake. Do that. And then we're done. We're done. Like 100% done. That part of it. Then I got to go and put the sand on the other side, which I have not really started yet. So that's that. Where'd that guy spawn? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. As soon as I backed up and I hit the little... I was starting to back up and I hit this and I had to jump. I knew, oh, I'm not going to get away from this guy fast enough. And now there's a huge hole! And it's exposed a lot of the stuff that I buried. What I think I'm going to do... Yeah, I gotta, like, fill all of this in. I don't have the blocks for it. He destroyed them all. So I'm gonna have to do that later. My biggest fear is what happened with Edson's base on TimeShot Season 1. Where Enderman came along and then just started, like, picking up blocks. Every which way. So every now and again I have to kind of come out here, just take a look around, see if I spot any like sand showing. Because if you dig any of these blocks, like any of them, guaranteed you're going to find sand underneath. So that's a thing. Anyway, wanted to tell you guys a story today about something that happened to me. It's not a long story. You know, by any means. I just wanted to kind of talk about it because I thought it was funny. Well, it's not funny. It's kind of depressing. But, I mean, it's funny to me. So it should be funny to you. Is that... Okay, so I've got a house that is very dry. The house is very dry. And I don't know why it's really dry, but it just is. Okay? It just is. It's the heat always being on makes it dry. And ooh, this is the top. Should this be as high as I go? Should I break it a little bit more? Let's go like I gotta figure out if this is as high as I want to be. No. I want to go about to the other side. I want to go just about up to there where my cursor is with this pillar. So I got a long way to go. And now I kind of, because I did this, kind of have to go from the top. All right. I'll go around. So my house is very dry, and as such, it creates a lot of static electricity. So if I'm like under a blanket, and my house is also very cold. I understand that the heat's on all the time, but I keep it pretty cool in my house to save money, and just because I'm fairly comfortable with it on the cooler side. So my house is set to 64 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not 100% sure what that translates to in Celsius, but probably in and around like 18 degrees and colder. It's not quite room temperature. Room temperature is 70, so I'm at 64. It's on the cool side for sure. So I always have a blanket with me. I try to stay as warm as I can under the blanket. I have slippers that I wear. And with that, I stay fairly warm in my house, and I save a little bit of money on my gas bill because my furnace isn't going all the time. Right? But it causes some problems for me. Wearing these slippers and being under this blanket, I get very staticky. And I've learned my lesson a number of times where, like, I have these little end tables, coffee end tables, beside my couch. And they have little lamps on them. And they have the little drawstring that you pull to turn the lamp on and off. And sometimes I'll grab that and I'll essentially just get zapped, you know. You get that static electricity zap happen. So I've learned that I have to essentially take off my shoes, my slippers, when I'm doing anything like that. Where's... Okay, there it is. There it is. Got it. So you have to take off your slippers, and then you don't get zapped, you know? And I mean, I've zapped things like, I'll go to turn on my coffee maker, and I'll get zapped. I'll go to turn on the lights in the room, and I'll get zapped. So there's a great deal of getting electrocuted. But it's just a little zap, and then it goes away, and then I'm fine. And it is what it is. It's nothing bad. Well, the other day, and by the other day I mean like maybe 2 days ago or so. 2 days ago, yeah. I had my slippers on. I was under my blanket, and I decide, you know what? I'm going to turn the temperature up in this house. You know, I always have it at 64. But you know what? I got to chill. I'm really cold. I don't know why. I'm shivering. This isn't nice. This isn't comfortable. I want to just, you know, relax, watch some TV, and not have to worry about being frozen to death. And so I turned on the temperature, the heat came on for about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. It wasn't that long I had it on, but I turned it up to about 70 in the house. And so it started to get, quite warm. I don't really know what temperature it got to, but it got to a temperature warm enough that I was like, you know what? I'm comfortable now. I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. I don't need the temperature to be on anymore. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna. Oh, actually, I should think about this for a second. This should almost be longer. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to do this longer. Let's do it to like right here. Yeah. Anyway, I decided that I had enough heat, that I was getting a little bit too hot, and I'm going to turn it off now. It only been about, 15, 20 minutes. But I guess that in that 15 and 20 minutes, the heat being on that long, my house dried out quite a bit, and the static electricity capabilities of the world were that much more extreme, I suppose, in some weird way. I walked over to the thermostat, and I proceeded to press the button, as gingerly as I always have, a little rubber button, or plastic, not anything metal, or anything like that. I wasn't expecting what happened next to happen whatsoever. But I got electrocuted. And I mean, I really got electrocuted. I don't want to say like, oh yeah, a little static zap, No. It wasn't a static zap. It was a full-on, like, arm trapped in current electrocution happening on my hand. And it was a result of the static. It was, you know, for sure. It's not like, you know, I was actually like electrocuted and couldn't get out and then I died. No, it was just a very, very, very strong static shock. Definitely the hardest one that I've ever had in my entire life. To the point where, like, the noise it made was different. The noise it made was, like I said, more like being electrocuted. You know, the sound of, like, electricity zapping, like a Tesla coil going off or something. Like, it was powerful. And I get this strong zap, all right? And I'm sitting there in a little bit of deal of pain. My hand actually was like throbbing from the fact that it just got electrocuted. It was sort of like when if you've ever accidentally put your finger into a light socket when you're unscrewing it, or if you ever, when you're pulling out the prongs on, you know, an outlet or something, and you get that little bit of electrocution, you know, strong enough to mean something. So it goes zap, 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 zap. And I'm like, you know, like, that really hurt. I was able to pull away right away. And I kind of look at the thermostat like, holy crap. You know, my immediate thought is, what did I just break? Because, you know, this thermostat that I've got, I installed it about 2 years ago, and it cost me about $250. I don't know why it cost me that much, but it did. When I got my air conditioning installed years ago, the guy who came out and installed it, he said, you need this. It's a heavy duty, strong, ultra amazing. You need it. And you're going to get it. Just like that. I got it. It was $250 for this thermostat. And I don't know what it is. I've even had compliments on my thermostat. Is that a weird thing? I've had other people come and repair things. This one guy came to repair something to do with the heat. I'm not sure what. I don't remember now. And he even was like, ooh, this is the, I thought when you told me that you had one installed that you'd have the one from Walmart, but no, this is like a really nice heavy duty. Oh, it's so amazing. Oh, it's so good. You're so good and amazing, and it's great. That was what he said to me. And I was like, okay, well, you know, money well spent then. $250 is nothing to shake a stick at, especially for me. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with, you know, the fact that it actually amounted to something impressive to others. Well, my immediate thought when this all happened is, what did I just break? What could have just happened to my precious, world-renowned thermostat? My expensive thermostat. What just happened to it? And what I looked at was the faceplate. And what I noticed right away is that the faceplate looked a little bit different than it usually looked. A tiny bit different. Because instead of having the temperature marked on it, it had something a little bit different. It had just the number 8. The number 8 a bunch of times. It's like, what does that mean? The number 8? You know, 8 what? 8 what? I don't know, but it was like nothing but 8s, and then like it went black, or it turned off. And at that point I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh no, what's happened? You know, because, you know, it's the dead of winter here, and I don't want my thermostat to be off in the dead of winter. I really don't. That is something I do not desire to learn what it feels like to be in that much cold. I would rather not have to deal with that. So it went off, it came back on, and a sigh of relief, at that point, honestly. Sigh of relief. This is where I want the next one. Just like that, right? So I got that face there. That face there. No. No. This is wrong somehow. This is wrong! Okay. Did I do this wrong? It goes 4, 5, and then curves in. 5 curves in. Oh, maybe that is right. Oh, no! Get away. Ow, why? I hate them so much. Worst mob that Mojang ever added to Minecraft. Worst, terrible. Like, where did he even come from? I understand that this was all like partial desert and stuff, despite it now having grass. That doesn't change the biome. Those guys do still spawn in here sometimes, but come on. I've lit it up. Anyway. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure this one out here. Okay, it goes like that, and then 1, 2. Those two should be there, and they are. And then goes 1, and beside it is a pillar. And this one goes 1, and then on the inside of it is the pillar. Okay. I think that's where I messed up. Yeah, that's where I messed up. All right. So that's where that goes. Got it. Figured out. I hope. Anyway. Where was I with this story? The screen went blank on my thermostat, and I freaked out, like panicking. I don't know if it's going to come back. I don't know if I'm going to freeze to death now, it was like midnight, so it's not like I could just call a serviceman at midnight and say like, hey, by the way, my heat just stopped. Come out and fix it. Even in an emergency, I think they'd be like, I'm going to wait till tomorrow, And I'd understand that. I mean, even if it was something as human rights-ish as heat, I don't think they'd really care, honestly. Okay, so then it goes like that, and then 1, 2, 3, and then like that. I think that's how it goes. I'm going to fix that. Right? Yes. Yes. Okay, perfect. Yes. This is how I want it. So I'm going to go and just pillar up with this now. But anyway. It did come back. After a few seconds of the screen being blank and me freaking out, the screen came back. And it didn't show 8s anymore. But what it showed was equally as concerning as showing number 8 or being blank. It still gave me pause. It still gave me reason to have some concern in my life. Because what it showed is that the temperature in the house was now 79 degrees Fahrenheit. 79 degrees. And that the temperature that the minimum was set to was 62 degrees. Which is a lot colder than 64, actually. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, that's not right. And then it was flashing 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Like, if anybody's old enough to remember those old VCRs, or I guess DVD players did it too, where they would just do nothing but flash the number 12 because nobody knew how to set those clocks. That's what it was doing. So I started pressing buttons to see, like, is it working? Is it doing something? It says it's 79 degrees in here. It's clearly not 79 degrees in my house. But I'm thinking, like, okay, well, maybe, you know, my electric shock was so hot, like the heat of the electricity, it thinks that it's 79 degrees in my house now. Like, maybe that's just a thing that it thinks. And so I just waited. You know what? It's a waiting game. Let's see if it fixes itself or if it's broken forever. See if the temperature goes down. I set it to 64 again. And gradually, to my astonishment and relief, it started to go down again. And then when it hit 64 finally in the house, the heat came on. So everything seemed to be working all right, despite me being almost electrocuted and the thing showing nothing but the number 8. So I'm sitting there and I go about my day, you know. What I then notice at night, because this is something I do, is every night I go to it and I make sure that it's set down for when I go to sleep, because there's no sense of having it on at like 70 when I'm sleeping. So I go to turn it down and I rely on its light because it's dark in the living room. I walk up to it, I press the button, and I see its light, and then I can see what it's set to and everything. That's broken now. The little LED light that's inside of it that shows me what temperature it is in the dark is just, it's dead. That's gone. And that to me is still kind of concerning, because I'm like, you know what? If that's broken, then what else could be broken? You know, maybe something just isn't quite right. And you see, here's the thing that I've kind of noticed is that I think that the temperature is just wrong now. Like, I just think that it's wrong. I don't believe what it says anymore. I don't know who to trust. It just feels wrong. Because I'll set it to 64, and it'll be 64 in here, but it doesn't feel like it's 64. You know, as I said, I like it cool in here, and it has been cool. Trust me, I can tell when it's 64. You know, your fingers are a little bit too cold. You gotta wear slippers. You gotta be under that blanket. And now it's 64. It's set to. But I'm like, you know, it's actually quite comfortable in here. It's actually very comfortable in here. Why is it so comfortable in here? This isn't normal. So, oh, I missed that jump. I think that it's like a couple degrees off now. But how can I tell? And the problem is that if I'm trying to set it down to save money, and yet it's at like, it's saying that it's 64, and meanwhile it's pumping out heat at like 70, that's sort of an issue, you know? This is wrong. This is wrong! I just noticed it's wrong. It is wrong right here. These last two pillars. Ugh. This one's supposed to be like right here somehow. Huh? Yeah. That one's supposed to be there, and then it goes like that, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, even inside this a little bit more. It's like up to there. This is why I can't talk and build at the same time. Yeah. That's right. Okay. See, if you look at it from this way, you got the one big face and then a little notch. Look at it from this way, it looks like it's pillar, space, pillar, pillar. So it goes pillar, space, pillar, pillar. Look at it from this way. Big notch, pillar, pillar. Big notch, pillar, pillar. Yeah, it's right now with these two. This is wrong. Ugh. Ah! Oh, that stinks. Well, anyway. I have now been setting the temperature in my house down to like 63, 62. And I've been like perfectly fine. And I don't know if it's like a mental thing. Like, do I just think that it's broken? And so I'm like, well, I must set it cooler. And then it feels normal. And like, I don't know. How powerful is the human mind to tell me that it feels fine in here to not feel cold when it's set to 62? Or is it genuinely broken? I kind of want to lean towards the fact that it was not showing an LED light anymore. Ugh. I don't know. Either way, I can't afford to fix it. So I'm just going to have to feel like, I don't know. I'm just going to have to guess. Go by feel. Keep setting it down until I feel cold, I guess. But, yeah, I was kind of feeling like when I had it at 64, now that the heat was on all the time and that it was getting, like, really dry in my house and it was feeling too warm. So, I don't know. Maybe it's all broken. But, yeah, there's my story. I got electrocuted, guys. That's basically what happened. Just because my slippers being on, I got the shock of a lifetime. Seriously. Biggest shock that I've ever had. And I mean, I've had some where, you know, when you rub your feet on a carpet and touch someone and you can actually, like, you can see the spark. You can see the light of the spark. Even those ones weren't as strong as this one. It just, like, it shocked like 5 times in a row, really strong. My hand, like, ached after. Craziness. But now, yeah, I'm living with suspicious heat in my house. So anyway, that's my story for today. I just wanted to do that while I kind of started to build this. And what I'm going to do with this, why there are these pillars like this, is I'm going to do something kind of similar to that building right there. With how, you know, you have the pillars in sort of a half circular shape. But instead of it being a C shape or a crescent moon shape, like this one, it's going to be in this L shape, like I have here. So, like, it starts at this corner, and it curves around, and then it goes into this corner. So it's a quarter round circle. And the glass is going to be way taller. So instead of having, like, the 6 panels or 5 panels, whatever that is, 7 panels? 6 panels, block, block, 6 panels, block, block. I'm going to do, like, huge panel of, like, 13, block, 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 huge panel. That's what I'm going to do. And then the roof is not going to be this weird curve shape either. I'm going to have to figure that out. Maybe a dome. I might look cool in a corner like this. Or maybe even flat. I haven't decided yet. But with that, we're going to end the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My talk about being electrocuted. Maybe you guys have similar stories of, like, times when you got electrocuted by accident, you know? I remember a lot of times in my childhood where, like, we were doing renovations and we had light panels. The little light switch didn't have the little plastic panel around it, and I would, like, casually go to turn it off, flip it off, and you miss, and you stick your finger right in there, and you get a zap. Oh, I'm lucky to be alive sometimes. And I used to hear horror stories when I was in electrical engineering back in college. You know, this professor of mine actually said that what they used to do was just stick their finger right in the light socket to determine whether or not the power was still on. And that's just how they did it. They used to quickly touch the wire, get a little zap on your hand, and that's when you knew, oh, yep, the power's still on. Until one fateful day, the guy he was working with got electrocuted so badly that he had to be tackled to the ground in order to let go of the power. Craziness. I don't know. Maybe there's similar stories that you guys have. Or maybe I'm just very unlucky. Either way, that's where we're going to end it. Like this video, comment below, do all those other awesome things people do, and we'll see you next time on TimeShot. Bye-bye.